Mic check, mic check. What a beautiful day to be alive. Good evening, good morning, good night. Whenever you decide to listen. Y'all know my thing. Let's get right to it. One thing I cannot stand is when you finally get the chance to play the game or something, and it's always somebody badass kids right there that want to play too. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind sharing and, sharing is caring. I don't mind playing a game with people, but it's like you just sat down and you about to get it in and the kid run in with like a snotty nose like, "Can I play?" It's like you don't want to say no, and then you don't want to say like, "Get out of here, little kid. Get on out of there." So you ask certain questions like, "Where your mother at?" "She in there." "Oh, okay. I only got one." Look, kids always smart when you don't want them to be. I'd be like, "I got one controller." The other one right here. It's like, oh my God. All right, man, come on. So you let them play, and now you obligated to let them win. You don't want to beat up on a little kid, so you acting like you don't know how to play, and it just drags on forever and ever. And it's like, man, I wasn't even planning on doing this today. I thought I was gonna have some me time. My son has a habit of doing that. I'll be playing something and he'll say, "Daddy, I want to play." So of course I'm gonna let my kid play. So I let him play the game, and I gotta make up certain lies like, "Oh, the controller died." Like he's like that with my phone. He'll be like, "Daddy, I want to play a game." I say, "Well, my phone died." Look, it's dead. I'm like, "Yeah, it's dead." Then he'd be like, "Well, here go your charger." Kids is just super advanced. So I'd be like, "Damn, what is it gonna take?" I just need 5 minutes. 5 minutes to myself, and I promise I'll be everything you guys want me to be. It seems like you never get the time that you actually need to come down off of whatever you want. It's just always something going on. Somebody always busy, or you always running into some more shit instead of just chilling out for a second, catching your breath, and relaxing. Dear Love, episode 31. One thing in school I never paid a lot of attention to was that famous question that they always ask: what do you want to be when you grow up? I remember answering that question in school, and I always wanted to be a wrestler. I say, man, I can't wait to grow up and be like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H and The Undertaker. That dream went kind of down the drain real fast when I found out that it was fake. It hurt my heart. I was like, oh, no, Stone Cold's not real. I didn't really understand because it like all hit me at once. So we used to go to the mall. I see Santa, sit on Santa's lap, tell him the toys that I wanted, wonder why some of the toys I never used to get. And then later on down the line, I found out the truth about Santa. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not real? So then we used to watch TV shows. I always went over to my grandmother's house, and she used to watch Child's Play. Everybody know that the movie is called Child's Play. Why we call it Chucky? We got to be the only people on earth that just say Chucky. Hey, I'm trying to go watch Chucky. It's Child's Play. And I remember sitting back and watching it as a kid. I'm just sitting there watching it. She watching it. And she used to watch stuff like Columbo and Walker, Texas Ranger, who seemed to never age. But I wasn't really too fond of I was the guy that growing up, I love watching the scary movies, but I didn't like watching them. It's like I was so thirsty and nosy to see what was going on, but I was always scared to watch them. So Chucky was one of them. Every time he'd say, "Andy," I just like look around, and you always watch it before you go to bed. So now I'm going to bed hoping that, Chucky don't come out the closet or run in talking about want to play a game. I was kind of a little crybaby back then. All of the little nightmares I was having about scarecrows, and I was never a clown guy. Clowns didn't really affect me all like that, but some people seem to be scared of it. Mine was Chucky. But it was still some upside to some of these shows because after I skipped the whole wanting to be a wrestler phase, which I think we all went through, then I remember I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a policeman. You never really know. Even though I feel like you should really know by a certain age, you never really know. And before you know it, you'll be asking your kids what they want to be when they grow up. It got to be an age that we just sit back and say, okay, by this time, I want to be doing this or I want to be doing that. So that's why you get people who write these life plans or a list. By the time I'm 21, I want to own a car. By the time I'm 24, I want to own a house. Make a list of things you want to get done. I asked my son now, what do you want to be when he grow up? He just looked at me and smiled. I said, oh, maybe I'm asking him too early. But, I ask a lot of 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, what do you want to be by the time you're 25? Because it can't be when you grow up then because they're kind of older. So you want to ask them, what do you see yourself by 21? What about 25? What about 30? I still say life starts at 30-ish, 35-ish. I also seen myself being like a game designer. And that came from just being a game head, enjoying games, enjoying systems, electronics, things like that. And I think that's why my son is into that stuff so much because he obviously sees me doing things. And like I said, the internet don't make it no better now with everything being so easier to do. So I definitely wanted to be a game designer. I still see myself kind of, dipping in that world a little bit. But I think it's important that we pick something and stick with it because by the time 30, you want to at least have a plan, if not already in effect. It's just like moving. Like I personally feel like I would hate to move house to house to house or apartment to apartment. I feel like you should get somewhere, rock out, stack your money, do whatever you feel like you want to do. And then when you make that move, that can somewhat be the final move. It's just like getting married. You find that special person you want to be with forever and you marry them. You don't say, all right, I'm going to marry you. Divorce. All right, your turn. I'm going to marry you. Divorce. Like you pick that person and you roll with it. But I'm not saying you can't change things like professions or stuff that you want to do. Hell, some stuff just fall on your lap. I hear a lot of people say, man, I didn't think I'd be doing this when I was younger. And that's usually how it works. Growing up, Y2J used to be a thing. Oh, when the millennium comes, when 2000 hit, all the computers going to shut down. The world is going to end in the year 2000. I remember being so scared leading up to that. 98 year had came, 99 had came. I'm like, oh my gosh. Y'all, we got like a couple more months to live, y'all. I just remember all of that in school. So then, when 2000 finally hit and I found out the world wasn't over, I said, man, now I can maybe come up with a plan for the rest of my life. I always wonder, though, how would a world be different when we get older and our kids are us? Because the same way I was telling that little kid, like, get out of here, little kid. It's like my son does the same thing. And we once did that. We were once the kids walking up asking, can we play the game or can we go outside or can we do this? Or, being in somebody's face while they talking. Because now that I look back, I'll be like, man, I really was the kid that played with water guns and I had a car bed and all of that stuff. My son never had a car bed. He didn't get to experience the car bed, man. Who didn't have some type of special bed? I think I just see life a little bit different. Maybe that's why I don't judge like kind of how others do. When I see people hurt or in pain or something, I just got to know what's wrong. And one problem I always face is trying to save everybody, trying to figure out everybody's story. And it don't always, work out to your favor. Some people just don't want to be bothered. But I always feel like it's my job to try to be nosy and make sure somebody's okay or see if they good. Because I know that's how I would want to be, or that's how I used to hope somebody would come, talk to me. I feel like you got to go through something to kind of be able to help others. You always get the certain people who try to help people and don't really know the struggle. You can't really help me if you ain't never been through some of the stuff I've been through. It don't got to be exact, but if you never struggled, then how you gonna help somebody who struggling? That's when you get people who say, "Oh, you'll get through it. Oh, that ain't nothing. You can handle that." It's like, no, I can't handle that. That's why at all times you got to keep the good vibes, the good energy going. That seems to be the only way to, keep somebody who having a down day, to try to keep them up, build them up just a little bit. You can't let the little shit bother you or nothing like that. And again, going back to that teacher saying what you want to be when you grow up, is really a strong statement that we should try to remember every single day. And the biggest part of that being grow up. That kind of means a lot. Like, grow up if you're not acting right. If you're doing bad things you shouldn't be doing, grow up. That's what people say, right? Think about if you don't listen. You got some people who never get to hear grow up, let alone make it to grow up. Look at the ages we dying at now. So that's really a strong question. What do you want to be when you grow up? Because now how things are set up, it should be, what do you want to be if you grow up? And growing up, sometimes it takes leaving those friends alone that's been your friends for 10 plus years. Sometimes you got to stop doing some of the things you were doing. That's part of growing up. Some people are around you as a child because you're a child. And once you get older, you start to see like, man, maybe we weren't supposed to be doing this. Or, how people used to roll up the little papers and light it and act like they were smoking. I would hope as an adult you don't do that now, do you? A lot of things I go back and look at that I did as a kid, I just laugh at. But some of the stuff you gotta do as a kid to realize when you get older that it was childish things. One day we all gonna have to grow up and do what we have to do. And now it's my job to teach my son to grow up and protect him so he can make it to grow up. So when people say, I want to be a politician or the next president, let's not laugh at them. I mean, I feel like, and you should feel like, at least they want to be something. Better than the person talking about, I don't know, I ain't going to make it past 25, or I ain't going to make it past 18. So don't laugh at their dreams. If they want to be the president, tell them go ahead and be that president. I always say, look at Bill Gates. Sat in the classroom, everybody laughed at him, and now they working for him. That's some growing up for you, ain't it? Dear Love T. Shaw, I'm out of here.